Today, the United States of America is one of the most powerful countries in the world. But how did this country come into existence? Have you ever wondered how a group of colonies challenged one of the greatest empires in the world? This story is not just the founding of a country. It is the story of freedom, rebellion, and great change. In the 17th century, the lands of North America meant a new beginning for people coming from Europe. Settlers from England crossed the Atlantic Ocean and began establishing new colonies. Over time, a total of 13 English colonies formed along the East Coast. At first, everything was calm. The colonists were farming, trading, and living under the rule of England. However, being governed from thousands of kilometers away also brought some problems. By the 1700s, England had entered major wars and fallen into serious debt. Wanting to pay off these debts, the British government turned its attention to the colonies in America. New taxes were introduced: the sugar tax, the stamp tax, the tea tax. The colonists were angry because they had no say about these taxes. There was no one representing them in the British Parliament. That is why this famous slogan emerged: "No taxation without representation." The tension was growing steadily. In 1773, one of the most interesting protests in history took place in the city of Boston. A group of colonists, disguising themselves as Native Americans to avoid British soldiers, boarded British ships in the harbor. They threw hundreds of crates of tea into the sea. This event was not just a protest. It was now an open challenge. England responded harshly. The ports were closed, the number of soldiers was increased, and the pressure on the colonies grew. War was now inevitable. In 1775, the first gunshots were heard. Fighting began between the British Army and the colonies. At first, the colonies did not even have a regular army. Farmers, merchants, and ordinary people took up arms and began to fight. A leader was appointed to command this irregular army: George Washington. Washington led a disciplined but difficult struggle. The British Army was one of the most powerful armies in the world. It had trained soldiers, a strong navy, and vast resources. The colonies, on the other hand, had few weapons, little money, and limited training. But they had a powerful belief: freedom. On July 4th, 1776, the colonies made a historic decision. They declared that they were no longer connected to England. A document called the Declaration of Independence was published. This document stated that people are born with certain rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These ideas were revolutionary for that time. The war lasted for years. Winters were very harsh. Many soldiers went hungry, walked without shoes, and continued the struggle despite heavy conditions. The fate of the war changed with unexpected support. France, England's rival, decided to help the colonies. Weapons, money, and soldiers were provided. This support changed the course of the war. In 1781, the British Army suffered a major defeat at Yorktown. 2 years later, in 1783, England officially stepped back and recognized America's independence. Thus, a new country was born: the United States of America. However, even though the war had been won, the real challenge was just beginning. How would the new state be governed? In 1787, the leaders gathered and wrote the U.S. Constitution. This Constitution established a system that prevented power from being concentrated in a single person. A balance of power was created between the President, Congress, and the courts. In 1789, George Washington was unanimously elected as the first president of America. This new country, born from small colonies, grew over time expanded westward, and became one of the most influential states in world history. America's founding story shows us one thing. Sometimes it is not armies, but ideas that change the course of history. The idea of freedom, the desire for representation, and the will of people to determine their own future. Today, July 4th, which is celebrated, is remembered not just as a day of independence, but as the day a thought changed the world. And perhaps the most interesting question is this: if a few people had not thrown tea crates into the sea that day, would the world be the same today? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more history videos.